Okay, so we are back. I was at the Charlotte Hornets versus the Magic game yesterday on Sunday. Cam gave me a call, broke the news that Kyrie went to the Mavericks. So let's hop right into this. Cam, start me off with some initial thoughts of this trade, man.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting situation. I mean, obviously, we saw the report came out today that the Nets owner had no plans and there was no way he was sending Kyrie to the Lakers. Number one, I think that's a little bad for their organization. It could deter some big time free agents from wanting to sign with the Nets because they know the pettiness of their front office. But as far as the Mavs and the Nets, I think number one for the Mavs, obviously, I think this is now the backcourt to beat in the NBA. They are Luka and Kyrie, arguably two of the best offensive players in the league. I think this is definitely a force to be reckoned with in the West. I think it's going to open a lot of opportunities for the Latvian laser, my boy David Bertans. Can't double Luka and Kyrie forever. Going to leave him a lot of opportunities to knock down some big shots for them. I think the main problem with the Mavs is their defense. Not a lot of defensive minded guys on either on the guards or the forwards right now, and I think that's really what's going to hold them back in the playoffs because, as we do know, defense does win championships.
Yeah, well, let's fast forward right now to the months of like April, June-ish, May. Are the Mavs title contenders with this Kyrie Irving move?
I mean, it's the cycle of Kyrie like we see every year, you know. He plays extremely well, it gets your hopes up, torpedoes his team. A new team takes a chance on him with the hopeful of getting that guy back in his prime. Then he torpedoes that team once again. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, both guys have extremely high usage rates, so it's going to see. It's I'm not sure if Luka and Kyrie will be able to share the ball like that, but I mean, we didn't think they could share the ball with Harden and Kyrie, and they figured out how to do that as well. So Kyrie does know how to play Robin to people like LeBron and KD. So we've seen him take on that kind of role. It's going to be interesting to see if he can do the same thing with Luka.
Yeah, you said it when we started up, but I want to hear you say it clearly back to me. Luca and Kyrie right now, is this the current best backcourt in the NBA?
I think so. I mean, my number two backcourt right now, right behind them, is not even Steph and Clay. I mean, with the way Clay has been playing this season and the injuries that we've seen since Steph, my number two, and the only one that's close to them, I think, is got to be the Cavs and Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. But I mean, the superstar status that Luka just elevates to is arguably a top two, probably definitely a top three player in the NBA. I think that gives them the slight edge because I don't think Kyrie and Darius Garland are that far apart as far as usage and points and stuff like that. So I do think that obviously Luka's still better than Donovan Mitchell right now. So I think that's where the difference is.
Yeah, so some of the other, contenders for that title would be Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, John Morant, Desmond Bane, Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Trae Young, Dejounte Murray, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and like you said, Steph and Clay, man. I mean, the talent that they just got with Kyrie is huge. Now, we all know with Kyrie off the court, let's see if he can, really what's the word, hunker down for 4 months and try to go on this title run with the Mavericks. But talking about Kyrie leads right into KD, and this is what I love, some fake KD trade scenarios. Before I get started, I just want to say one thing. KD, this is karma. When you go to the Warriors in 2017 and join a 73 and 9 team, and now you can't even, your best player right now is Ben Simmons on your team. That's what I like to call karma. If you want to get that back, I see no better place where KD can go than the Portland Trailblazers. You pair Dame and KD together, and I just see absolute fireworks in the best way possible. KD can kind of go back to where the Seattle Supersonics were, a little in that, in that area, the Northwest, and try to get something done there. What do you think about KD going to the Blazers, and then maybe some fake KD trade scenarios from your side?
I mean, I could definitely see it working over there with Dame. You'd have to include a guy like Anthony Simmons in that trade. There's no way you make that move without him being part of that package. Give the Nets somebody to build around, but I don't see it. I don't see KD heading out west. I think he's going to stay in the East. I mean, Boston, Miami, I think are way more likely for him. Personally, you know where I want him to go. I'd love to see him in the Boston green, but that's just seems like more of a KD move. You know what I mean? And to go to the top three seed in the conference, go play with Jason Tatum, send Jalen Brown over to the Nets. And I mean, Tatum and KD, Malcolm Brogdon, if they can hold on to him too, Rob Will, you don't think that team can get it done? Because I definitely do.
Yeah, what we're seeing right now is you'd probably say Tatum and Brown are the best wing duo in the league, or maybe just duo in general. You take Jalen Brown, you replace that with Kevin Durant, and oh my goodness, the league is in for some trouble, man. I kind of want to go off that a little bit more and just talk about the Nets and how Kyrie Irving actually got a $2 million trade bonus from this trade. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it's ridiculous that these types of things can happen. I guess that's my next question. Who are your top three contenders coming out of the West, and does this trade affect it at all?
I wouldn't say this trade does affect it for me because Dallas isn't in there, and I gotta see. I'm not a big hypothetical guy. I gotta see what they look like on the court. Hopefully, I think he's gonna play Wednesday night against the Clippers, so that'll be a good first test as well. We know what kind of length and defense the Clippers have. But right now, my top three coming out of the West, and I mean, obviously, you got to go with Denver. They're the number one seed. They have arguably the best player on the planet on leading their team, and for my number two team, I am gonna ride the Clippers. I'm still a believer. I'm still a believer on the Clippers, man. I mean, they're deep, they've got lots of talent, obviously, with Paul George and Kawhi leading the charge. And I just I don't know. I'm just a believer in the Clippers right now. And I do think that you gotta include them in there. My number three option, and I mean, we count them out every year, but you can't. They are the defending champs. You do have to leave the Golden State in there. I mean, Steph's gonna miss some time. That news dropped, I think, yesterday that he's gonna miss. I think it's 2 to 3 months, something like that. But I mean, he'll probably be back. He'll be back by the time the playoffs roll around. So it's Jordan Poole's season. That man's gonna have to be keeping him afloat with the help of Clay. Definitely got to step up the defense if they're actually going to contend again. I think somebody, please explain to me, give me something on why James Wiseman is in the G League. They need the help on the defensive end. I really don't understand what is going on with him. I mean, how he was a number two overall pick, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever that was. I just think the Draymond Green needs that help on the defensive end. The Warriors are near the end of the scale on as far as defensive efficiency right now, and that's really what's holding them back.
Yeah, the Warriors are currently sitting in the 8th seed, so this is an untimely injury for Stephen Curry. Do the Warriors make a move in before the trade deadline? Because if you're in the 8th seed, Steph isn't coming back for a long period of time. What's going on there?
You do know what they could do, Jay.
Let me say this for TikTok. If the Warriors give the treasure chest to the Brooklyn Nets and get Kevin Durant back in a Dubs jersey, I'm boycotting the NBA. We are finally in a moment in a scenario where parity is back in the NBA. And if the Warriors do it, oh my goodness, I won't be able to watch. That's all I'll say.
I think you have to pull. I think you have to at least consider it as the Warriors front office. I mean, you know what that guy can do. He already knows how to play your system. Steve Kerr's worked with him before, and I mean, I understand they want to extend their window as long as possible. Blah blah blah. But you have Steph Curry. You have Steph Curry for a few more years in his where he's really in his prime, quote unquote. And when you can contend at a high level with this original nucleus of Draymond, Steph, and Clay, I think that you have to at least look into the chances of bringing KD back into that lineup.
Oh man, the NBA is in for an absolute shitstorm if that happens. I'm not looking forward to it. But with that being said, Kyrie being the move isn't the only big move we'll see on before Thursday or Friday. A lot more coming, so we'll keep bringing some content to you on that.
Last thing I want to say before we wrap this up. Do you think the Bulls move from Zach LaVine before the trade deadline?
Do I think they do? No.
Or
Do
do you
I
think they
think they
should?
should? Yes. I think the Bulls, we talked about this. I guess we can another great TikTok segment where the Bulls are in NBA no man's land. They are too good of a team to tank or get a nice lottery pick, and they are not good enough to win a championship. So that puts them in that 5, 6 seed area, first round exit. Maybe if they get to the second round, you're out in 4 or 5 games. That's not a good ceiling to be as a franchise. If I'm the Bulls, speaking to a Bulls fan like you, I'm tearing it down. I'm tearing it down. And before we get out of here, my last thing I'll say is Jalen Brown was listed as out tonight with an illness. Now, we've seen this happen before when players are on the block and the team wants to sit them. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting real nervous over here. We'll keep you guys updated and we'll be back for the next time. Until then, peace.